going to be looking at the actual flooring. So for the flooring, we're going to be using some treated roofing batten. The reason why we're going for this is because it's 25mm thick, and also our insulation is 25mm thick. So this will actually allow us to have a little bit of structural strength, particularly if there's any sort of weight on top of the board. So plan to go across the van. So the wood's actually going to sit on these rib sections, like so, and then we're going to have some pieces of ply sitting in the spaces, because what we don't want to do is create this like a seesaw effect on the depressed areas, particularly around the wheel arches. You can see there's no ribs at all, so we're going to be putting bits of timber across here in order for the wood to actually sit on it, like so. So it creates a nice sturdy platform, and then the insulation is going to sit in between, probably about 400mm apart, just so that there's a good spacing. So Megan's going to be cutting out loads of pieces for around the wheel arch and etc. And then we're going to try and sort out some sort of layout.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wait, don't stop. So what I'm doing at the moment, you can see, I've just cut these two pieces out, and I'm just cutting the wood out in the shape of these gaps here, which Gareth just talked about. So there's those two. Luckily it's symmetrical, so I can literally just measure one half, cut it out, and then draw around it to do the other bit, which makes it easy. So you can see that fits nicely in there, just so that it's level with these, so that when these go on, it's not going to rock about. So now I'm just going to measure this little bit here, and yeah, it's actually coming on with ease. It's quite easy. Anyway.
Right, so once again it is night time. Yeah, shock horror. We always seem to be doing work at night, but I got back from picking up the windows, and I thought I'd obviously got back a little bit later than I was expecting. What I'm going to do is, I literally got the panels from the floor, as you can see. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a coat of varnish on the, or stain if you like, on the boards themselves, just to, yeah, okay, it might be a little bit extreme, but it's just going to give them a little bit more extra protection. And what I'm using is basically this sort of durable wood stain, sort of leftover stuff that I've got from when I painted, well, I varnished my canoe paddle, and give them a little bit of extra protection from moisture, based on what we had to dig up out of the van in the first place. So I'm going to chuck a few coats down, well, chuck one coat down. It's going to take about 4 hours or so to dry, and then hopefully put another one on in the morning on the other side, and that'll give me a little bit of time for it to dry, and then get it back in the van. And yeah, so I've managed to get the stain down on the boards, and actually it looks really good. It's going to be a shame to actually cover it all up. It gives me a few ideas potentially for the actual woodwork we're actually going to install in the van. Here's the panels, just there. It's really pulled out the grain really nicely. Something I learned pretty early on is the actual see the grain lines that are going across the boards themselves. That's the better brush stroke. As soon as you actually go across the grains themselves, the brush strokes are revealed a lot more severe. When you actually go this way, they actually blend into the actual grain itself. That was something I learned pretty quickly early on, and also it really soaks up the varnish. So I may have to go and buy some more after all that, but at least I didn't have to actually buy 2 lots, I suppose, because that would have been expensive. So yeah, I might have to try and get like for like to basically do the other side when it comes to the morning. So yeah, another trip out to the DIY store. But I'm going to put these away. I'm going to put them in a greenhouse because I'm able to actually radiate that and actually keep it nice and warm. Particularly, I'm not really going to want to have these panels inside the house, and I don't have a great deal of room in the garage, so these are going to go in the greenhouse, and hopefully it'll actually dry them off overnight. Alright, so it's the morning and I have pulled out the panels from the greenhouse, and annoyingly they are still tacky. Need a little bit more curing time, but decided to lay them down to get the other side painted. So I actually got the stain down as much as I possibly could until I actually ran out, and annoyingly I ran out on the smallest 2 panels. Really annoying. Yeah, it's come out well. As you can see, you know, there is I don't know if you can actually see this line here. These are recycled boards, so got a little bit of staining already from, I think, some like damp or whatever had got to it. Hoping that they're going to be dry enough to actually put back in the van later on, which I don't think they're going to be, so oh well. Adapt and overcome that.
So Gareth, what are you doing?
I am looking at the electrics that lead up to the light on the roof, the amber light. I want to take that off. So basically what I'm doing is figuring out what to do for this wiring, and then disconnecting it all before I take off the light on the roof.
What did they do with the wiring? I know.
Absolutely no idea.
Weird, isn't it? You'd think they had some weird lab in here or something. Can't think what they'd be making.
So I'm basically disconnecting all the wires, and then hopefully I should be able to unbolt the mounts. So the mounts are at the top, so we've got 2 mounts here, 2 mounts on the other side, and that's what connects onto the brackets. And then it's just going to be a case of disconnecting the lights, and then this is where the wiring goes through. So that's going to have to get filled. Also where these brackets are, they're going to have to get filled so that we don't get any moisture coming through. I don't really want the lights on the roof, it's not a good look, is it? Yeah.
Go, so we're moving the light. Here it goes. Yeah, rocky moment.
It's actually quite heavy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it heavy enough to knock an annoying blonde out?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's coming at you.
Wow, look at the size of it.
You like to
grab it?
Hold on to it, it's heavy. Hi everyone, so today I wanted to have a look at this thing here. This was pre-installed in the van previously. What I've noticed is that it's not a sort of standard sort of plug that you'd actually get with a camper van, so it's a 240 volt hookup. So we had this device here, which was hooked up on the back of the plug that you can see there, and it had this plastic housing over the top. So what I found out, that this device here is a auto eject plug socket. So basically, because the vehicle was used within the emergency services, so it was like an ex-police van, when they had an electric hookup, they had a auto eject lead, and whenever they started up the engine, so it was hooked up to the starter motor, the plug would pop out. Now that to me is just something, there's all components that potentially can go wrong in time, and the last thing I want to do is like cover it up, something go wrong, and then have to like dig deep. So what I've decided to do is replace it. So this is the box that I want to replace it with, and inside it's got your sort of normal sort of camper van hookup point. Okay, so these are the two components we're going to be using now. We're going to be using this arbor here, which has the pilot hole drill bit, and then you also have the hole saw itself. The first thing you need to do is retract these two pins here, because these two pins are actually going to go into, you know, one of these two holes here. So all you need to do is rotate this back like so, in order for those pins to be retracted all the way. Then we're going to do is, we're going to put it through the center of the hole here, through the pilot hole. You can see the thread on here, and then you can also see the thread on the actual pilot arbor bit. And all we're going to do is rotate this onto the drill. So rotate this on all the way up till you get to the end, and then if you look through the other side, you need to offer up the pins to the other side. So you might need to slightly rotate these just so you can see the pins. Can you see that? Just about. Okay. And then all we're going to do is rotate this really hard with one hand to lock it into place. Stop that from rotating. You can see the pins now have actually stuck through the actual hole saw itself, so it's not gonna spin out like so. This is the kind of service I get when I'm working on a van. Absolutely freaking love it. So thank you, Megan. Okay, so I've taken off the plug, and this is what we're left with. We're left with a sort of hole in the centre, and then this is where the screws went in. Now this hole here is going to be too small, so I'm going to have to re-drill a hole much bigger. This is the plug that I want to put in, and of course you can see the hole size difference. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up the outside, so clean this all up, and then I'm going to put a piece of timber on the other side of the panel for when it actually comes to drilling the hole, and this will all make sense when they actually like rig it up. So when I actually put the hole saw through, it's not going to dance all over the place. Okay, so what I've done is I've just put a piece of sort of ply on the back of the hole itself, and then propped it up against the side of the van with a piece of batten. What I've got is, I'm only going to use sort of two fixings. Reason behind this is when I sort of offered up the plug to the panel, raised it up to the far point, you can see that it's actually going to end up cutting through where I actually want to put holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to put the two screws at the top, fix it in, so just have a nice sturdy ply backing, and so I'm just going to screw these up, and then that gives me a nice sturdy platform. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer up the hole saw to the hole that I want to drill. I'm going to turn it upside down so that the serrated edges are actually on the outside, so it doesn't scratch up the van. I'm just going to use those screws that I've used at the top. Alternatively, you can just find a central point where you want to put holes in. Basically mark the centre of the circle onto the ply with a pencil. Okay, so this is our little bit that we've just cut out just here. So what I'm going to do now is unscrew screws, timber at the back. So you might notice here that there are old nail, the screw holes just here. I'm not too worried about those because they're actually going to get covered up by the plug itself. So I'm not worried about those. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to file this down just to going to get a nice smooth finish, and then I'm going to treat it with some hammerite, just because it's bare metal, just to stop any sort of future problems of any rust occurring in the future. I'm going to let that dry. So this is the view from the inside. So you can see so those tech screws that have come through the back in there. And I decided to put a little bit of sealant on the inside of the ply, so that goes around inside, just to kind of give it an extra seal on the outside there. All that's left to do here is to hook up the electrics, and then feed them in the way that we wanted it. So when they come in through behind the panel and then come through here.
Thanks for watching everyone, we hope you enjoyed our video. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our latest projects. Stay tuned for our next video when we strip and replace the floor of our van. Check out my travel inspired art here. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Take care and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching everyone, we hope you enjoyed our video. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our latest projects. Check out my travel inspired art here. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Take care and we'll see you soon.